The city of Kowloon is a suffocating maze of merchants, carts, and thieves. Two strangers have just slipped into this chaos, each moving with the practiced caution of someone who cannot afford to be seen. At any moment, a recognized face or a whispered name could bring their journey to a violent end. For these two, anonymity is the only thing keeping them alive, in a city where every shadow could hold an informant. One of these strangers is Lon, the last king of Malkir, a nation long ago swallowed by a corrupted wasteland. He has spent years hiding from his own royal lineage, preferring the life of a nameless soldier to the weight of a lost crown. But his concealment is failing. A woman from his past has raised his banner, the Golden Crane, calling for a war of vengeance that Lon knows is a death sentence for anyone who follows. Lon is now trapped by his own people. Their fanatical, suicidal devotion to his name has created a cage more restrictive than any prison, as they attempt to force their reluctant king into a war he cannot win. Across the city, Moraine sits in a crowded tavern, her true identity as an Aes Sedai hidden beneath a travel-stained cloak. Like Lan, she is an exile in her own way, operating outside the safety of her order. She is hunting for a child, a prophesied savior born with the power to face the coming darkness. Finding him is a race against the dark forces already scouring the countryside. Her secret mission is compromised when she is spotted by Cadsuane and a group of legendary elders from her own magical order. These are the most powerful women in the world, and they do not tolerate one of their own operating in secret. These elders demand Moraine's absolute submission to their rules. They intend to ground her, forcing her to abandon her search and remain under their direct supervision within the city walls. If Moiraine is confined, her search ends. Without her, the child she is hunting will be left entirely exposed to the shadows that are already closing in. In a quiet, sun-drenched stable, Lan's anonymity finally shatters. 6 armed swordsmen block the exits, drawing their blades with the clear intent to kill. Lan empties his mind and enters the Kodi, a meditative combat trance where emotion vanishes. In this state, the frantic ambush feels distant, his perception of time slowing until every enemy movement becomes predictable. He moves through the stable with terrifying precision. Despite the overwhelming odds, he systematically cuts down all 6 attackers, his blade moving in a blur of focused, lethal efficiency. The men Lan just killed were followers of the Golden Crane, zealots who decided to test their king's blade with their own lives. They were driven to violence by the very banner he has been trying to reject. Lan realizes his name has traveled faster than his horse. Every time a survivor of Malkir recognizes him, blood and obsession follow, turning his own identity into a magnet for violence. Moraine meets her ally, Suan, in a narrow, dusty alleyway. Suan is visibly shaken, her usual composure replaced by a cold, sharp fear. Suan reveals that the highest-ranking women in their order are being assassinated. They are being found dead in their beds, with no signs of struggle, suggesting the murders were carried out by someone who can weave magic in total silence. These deaths aren't random. Every woman killed knew about the search for the prophesied child. This proves the Black Aja exists, a secret, evil faction operating within their highest ranks. The institution is rotting from the inside out. With her own order infiltrated by killers, Moraine has nowhere to turn for help. Every Aes Sedai she meets could be a member of the Black Aja, waiting for the right moment to end her mission and the life of the child. Lan wipes blood from his father's sword, while Moiraine grips a small gemstone, their only connection to the world they must leave behind. Lan decides to walk away from the Golden Crane and the safety of his friends. He chooses to ride toward the Blight alone, believing that if he stays, his legend will only continue to get his people killed. Moiraine makes the same choice. She slips out of the city gates at dawn, abandoning the elders and the protection of the White Tower to continue her search in the wilderness, where no one can watch her. Both realize that staying loyal to their compromised institutions means failure. To protect the future, they must cut every tie that binds them to their past. Embracing a perilous, solitary path, the swordsman and the sorceress ride out into the unknown. They are 2 lone wolves traveling through a darkening world, their separate journeys inevitably drawing them toward a shared destiny.